It is the Sports Fix here on Flow FM, and it's time for us now to have a look at Hume Netball. Joining me on the line to help us go through the details there, Carla Fletcher is back. G'day, Carla. How are you?
I'm well, thanks, Jason. Staying out of the cold at the moment. Pretty chilly down here.
I imagine so. Hopefully get some decent weather across this coming long weekend. No netball for your girls this weekend?
No, I'm hoping everyone enjoys their weekend off, and I'm sure they've all got things to do and places to go and, get themselves reset, ready for the following weekend.
Well, we'll have a look at what's to come later on. We'll check the ladder as well a little bit later. But first, let's go back to round 9 of matches from last weekend in Hume Netball and some very interesting matches played. I guess we have to start with the obvious one, which was Holbrook and Colcan. They played the closest match of the round. So close, in fact, they couldn't be split.
No, 45 all from both Colcan and Holbrook. It looked like it was a pretty evenly contested game throughout all the 4 quarters, and I know the Holbrook girls enjoyed their ball that night, so they've got fantastic new club room and facilities over there, so that sounds like they had a really good night. Some really good players. Colcan were Olivia Brunner, Andrea Wendt, Rachel Hensel and Meg Neville. Sounds like their shooters and their defenders worked really hard on the weekend. And Holbrook's coach, Amy Gledhill, had a really good game, and Taylor Byrne. So, yeah, that's a very interesting outcome, and Holbrook are really starting to gel as a team and get themselves up on the winning list.
They are. By the time they return after the bye, they won't have lost in a month. I think they've won 2 on the trot, or they had 1-2 on the trot, and then the draw. Colcan, it's actually an important 2 points for both teams, really, when you look at it.
Yeah, I think so, and they'll be trying to win those, those closer games in the last half of the season. So I think those 2 points will be pretty valuable come towards the final.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the other matches. First of all, Lockhart. They were very comfortable winners over Henty, 73-35. They're in good form, Lockhart.
Yeah, they have been, and they had a pretty good game and a pretty big win on the weekend. Lockhart's Jade Maniscalco played very well in the midcourt, and the shooting combination of Emily McPherson and Olivia Lang, they just piled on some goals. But they, Henty girls, they didn't make it easy, and they had some really nice passes of play during the game, and their coach is really proud of their efforts and, continuing to turn up, play and keep fighting till the final whistle. And the mug for Henty went to Taya Andrews, and the coach award to Sarah Brennan.
All right. Probably the most important game of the weekend that was played due to ladder positions and where teams sat win-loss was the Billabong Crows taking on Howlong. This was at Urana in the end. Now, the Crows were too good in the end, winning this one by 18 goals, just flexing their muscles a little bit.
Yeah, look, they've had a few big losses, the Crows, but look, they had a really impressive start on the weekend, 16-8 at the end of the first quarter, and Howlong just couldn't get themselves back into the game. The Crows were a little bit more determined, I think. Ella Morley had a really solid game in defence for the Crows and goalkeeper, and the Crows just moved the ball so quickly down the court, and the combination of Beth and Brooklyn Maloney in the goals was impressive, with Ricky Robb not being able to play with an injury. And the best players for Howlong were Lily Smith in the centre and Erin Harbright as goal shooter.
Okay. Let's move to CDHBU taking on Osborne, and after quarter time, this was all Osborne. Pretty good start from CDHBU, but at the end of the day, a 38-goal win, which included a run of 39-11 in between the second and third quarters. So Osborne just too strong.
Yeah, look, that was a fantastic shooting quarter for Osborne. But, CDHBU had a pretty solid start, and they were only 4 goals down going in second quarter. But, Osborne just settled, and Karen Hugo and Lucy Bennett, they just led and dominated in the goal circle. And they've been really powering on and working really hard together. CDHBU didn't really make it all that easy for them, but the scoreline just pushed out towards the end of the game, and Osborne were really keen to boost up their percentage. Our best players for CDHBU were Chloe Gilchrist, Woods and Emily Doyle. And the shooting duo of Karen Hugo and Lucy Bennett took the awards for Osborne.
Okay. Now, let's have a look at the Murray Magpies taking on Randall Bundry Waller. This was an important game as well in terms of ladder position. And the Murray Magpies just tack back on 40-33 winners over the Giants, who are really struggling now.
Yeah, look, the Magpies, they had a good win. It was a pretty cold and wet day from everything that I heard of. And there, look, best on court for Magpies were Hannah Asai and Tara Lischke. She's just shooting beautifully as goal attack for Magpies. The Randall Bundry girls, it was a really tough game for them, but they really kept fighting throughout the whole game, with Brianna and Lucy playing a really strong game in defence. And look, they only had a 6 A graders on the day, and a couple of the girls came up from B grade. But the Magpies were just too strong. And eventually won. And Brianna Higgins and Lucy Tretham won the awards for Randall Bundry Waller.
Okay. Last match of the round to look at. Gindera big winners over the Brockburham Saints, who are struggling at the moment, and Gindera locking down that top 2 spot.
Yeah, like Gindera, they really piled the goals on as well. They were down Ellen Cook this week in the defence, and so Sam Creasy was in the defending circle with Shana Holland, and, they worked really hard to keep Saints to 21 goals. But a couple of the players for Saints, Mim Dunstan, who's working really hard each week, and Brittany Williams just didn't stop giving up. And unfortunately, they just had a too slow a start, and they just couldn't get back into it. So they were playing a bit of catch-up netball. Gindera's best players were Daria Brooks and Sam Creasy.
Right. So that leads us to the ladder as we have a look at how things are shaping up before this weekend's break. So 9 matches played across the competition for our 12 clubs. Osborne and Gindera top the ladder. They're first and second on 8 wins and 1 loss, only percentage separating them.
Yeah, look, they're going to be trying to boost that percentage, and I can't wait to see when they do play each other in a few weeks' time, the outcome of that game.
Again, percentage separating 3rd and 4th on the ladder, and that's all. So in 3rd spot, the Billabong Crows, and Lockhart probably would have been happy with their percentage boosting win last week just to get them a little bit closer, but they're a big chunk of percentage behind the Crows in 4th spot.
Yeah, it's just you don't realise how important putting those goals in and making those wins even bigger. So, I'm sure both teams, all the top teams in the top 6 will be trying really hard to put on as many goals as they can, because it looks like everything's going to come down to percentage.
Yeah, it looks that way. Yeah, it does. In terms of where teams finish inside that top 6, it's likely that it will come down to percentage, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Unless people can, perform some upset.
Well, one team that doesn't now have to worry about percentage, at least in the short term anyway, is Colcan. They're 6th on the ladder. How long back to 5th, of course, on 24 premiership points, and Colcan on 22 premiership points with 5 wins, 3 losses, and now that draw against Holbrook. So whilst I'm sure they would have much preferred to have had the full 4 points, that 2 points could come invaluable.
Yeah, I think so, and the top team to just be edging their way a little bit further away from, those other teams trying to get in. But I think, just the positions might change a little bit. But I think maybe it might be just that top 6 that keep working really hard and just trying to cement a different position on the ladder.
Well, there are 3 teams that are chasing that are still big chances to have a say in that 6th spot, maybe even 5th as well. So we'll have a look at those 3. The Murray Magpies, Randall Bundry, Waller and Holbrook in that order. So the Magpies the closest. They're on 16 points, a game and a half back from Colcan. The Giants are on 12 points, 3 wins, 6 losses. And Holbrook now have tacked back on to a point. They've got 10 premiership points, 2 wins, 6 losses and a draw. So those 3 are still close enough if they're good enough.
Yeah, that's right. And, as we've seen in the last few rep matches, that anything can happen. You've just got your best team on the day, and everyone's got to play the best netball that they can to take the 4 points.
And the bottom 3 sides who you wouldn't think are going to trouble finals contention at this point, the way they've started the year. CDHBU struggling. They're just the 2 wins, 8 premiership points from 9 matches. Brockburham have only had the 1 win, so they're 1-8, and Henty yet to break their duck. They're the only winless team in the competition. So those 3 sides, obviously, still plenty to play for, but I don't think they'll be knocking on the finals door this year anyway.
No, but you never know. Like, they can get a couple of wins under their belt, and everyone will be striving to, build this year and hopefully look forward to next year as well. So, it's just not really all about year's playing season. It's about building your club and turning those losses around.
All right. Well, that's where we'll leave it for today because, we've got no games to preview. There are none on this weekend. So, Carla, you enjoy a nice long weekend, won't you?
I will, and I did forget to mention there were a couple of huge milestones for CDHBU's Rosie Dye. She played her 150th game on last weekend, and also Molly Raggett. She played her 100th game. So well done, and congratulations to those two girls out of CDHBU.
Well done to them. And that's where we'll leave it for now. Carla, great chatting. Enjoy the weekend.
Thanks, Jason. You